All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. All right, now, a lot of people had some questions after my last video because at the beginning, I made a joke about being 60 and balding. I am neither of those things. I'm more than a decade away from being 60. And I am definitely not balding. I can guarantee you that. And so, that was a joke because I often get called just a 60-year-old man baby or, somebody who's balding living in their parents' basement. That was something else I forgot to add. And I was just doing a shout out to those haters. I had to throw that out there last time. So for anybody who thought I was being serious, I am sorry. It was a joke. That's all it was. I am not 60, not even close to it, and I am not balding. Now, we have a couple of things to talk about today because there have been some scenes and little trailers that have been released for Superman. None of these things are good. I'm telling you right now, even some people that are adamant about being pro-Superman have said that they have some issues with these. And I cannot show you the clips. If I show the trailer or the clips, Warner Brothers is going to copyright strike my channel, and I'm not going to have that happen. And so we will talk about them. I will go over to X, and I'll show you where these are at. And you guys can watch them on your own. But they're just downright terrible. And you're going to see some of the posts that I did today on X. Like, I have no hope for this film at this stage. When they're trying to market this film, they're not putting their best foot forward. That is very clear. There's nothing to get people excited. It looks like it's going to be stupid. It looks like it's going to be silly. It looks like it's just made for kids. And that may be what they're going for. I don't know. There was also a showing yesterday, and we're going to talk about that as well. Now, one thing that people mentioned after I did my last video is that overwhelmingly the people that saw this in whatever country it was, the first 30 minutes of the film, that they came away positive. And you guys totally missed the point of what I was saying in that video. There was one individual who came out and admitted if he said something positive about the film, they were going to give him a free ticket to see Superman when it gets released. All of those people who were making those comments were bribed to make good comments. On top of that, you had the showing yesterday, and we're going to talk about that after I show the few screen grabs I have to show you. There was a showing yesterday and a showing today of Superman in its entirety we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But let's take a look at the few things I grabbed to show you guys for today's video. I believe I only have 3 to show you guys because there really hasn't been a lot of news over the last couple of days other than these clips and the short teaser trailer for Another Country. But it says James Gunn has confirmed that Wonder Woman Reboot will be connected, and is a reboot, will be connected to the Paradise Lost series. And then it said this was coming from the direct. Here are 7 more DC studio projects that will connect to the wider new DCU, which I'm not even going to show that list simply because we don't know if any of that stuff is going to happen because 90% of what they talked about in this first phase is not even happening. Now, somebody posted this on Facebook, and I don't know if this is true or not. I would love to hear from somebody. But all the pictures that I've seen at Walmart, these toys are jam-packed full. Nobody's buying them. And someone posted Superman toys are already on clearance at local Walmart several weeks before the movie opens. And I was just kind of curious. If these aren't moving, they're going to want them off the shelves as quickly as possible, especially if they have a reset coming up and they have new things coming out. They may want this space for something else, so this could be true. These toys were cheap to begin with, and I would not doubt if this was true. I did not see this at mine, but it could very well be true. Here is the international poster for Superman. Well, this one's for China anyway, not international, but just specifically for China. And James Gunn posted, excited to bring Superman to my friends in China. This is not a terrible poster. A lot of characters in this film, I will tell you that, but that is not a terrible poster. I'm wondering why they didn't show Superman with his stretched out arms like they showed in the trailer. It's funny that they show it from a normal perspective. If the flying shots looked like this, I think people would be a lot more excited. But the flying shots they've released look goofy as crap. Also, he posted, meet Stephen Blackheart as Sidney Happerson in Superman in a shot live off or a live off the on-set monitor from 5/15/2024. Now, I don't know who Sidney Happerson is. If anybody is Superman-centric and they know who this is, let me know. But I posted this on X and I said, this looks like something out of Scooby-Doo. And it absolutely does. This movie, everything about it looks silly. It looks ridiculous. So I have a few more photos. I thought I had only 3, but I've got more here. This comes from Viewer Anon, somebody who got to see Superman early. And this comes from DC Superman News. Someone asked, how would you describe the tone for this movie based on the final cut? Viewer Anon said Superman 2 on steroids. Someone asked, can you explain more? He said it's very silly and very big. Superman 2 was not silly. So I'm not sure. I don't know if this is true or not. You know, this is what people were passing around. And based off of that comment alone, Superman 2 on steroids, and then saying it's silly and very big, I don't think that this is true. Or this person didn't see. All right, guys. So over here on X, here's the first thing I wanted to show you. This was another look at Superman, 10-second little preview. And Superman actually says, good gosh, in this. He says, good gosh, right in there. Good gosh. You can't be serious with this dialogue. Like, the dialogue, this was like written by a 12-year-old. That's what it sounds like. Now, up here is this was the 37-second clip released on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Superman comes in yelling, where's his dog? Where's his dog? Where's my dog? Where's my dog? Lex says, I don't know what you're talking about. And under his breath says something about a dog with a cape. And Superman says, what? And if he's got super hearing, he clearly heard Lex. Everything about this looks silly. It looks cheap. The acting here is terrible by the guy who's playing Lex. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. But this looks very, very, very cheap. Everything about it just this looks like someone put it well the other day, like High School Musical. This does not look like it's being taken seriously at all. Now, Robert Burnett posted this, and I had to laugh at this. A friend saw James Gunn's Superman today. He said it's 180 degrees away from Zack Snyder's vision. He told me a lot of things, probably too much. He said the trailers have been a bit of a misdirect. But the most important thing was he really, really liked it. But he's not saying who it was. There's an embargo right now, and people are not allowed to talk about the film. But people are talking about it. So whoever saw this shouldn't even be talking to Robert Meyer Burnett about this. But I don't trust this at all. I had to laugh at this because we're going to look at something ridiculous here in a minute. Real Shift posted after this same clip, juvenile storytelling at its finest. I don't know where these clips keep coming from, but they definitely aren't doing the movie any favors. Yikes. He's absolutely right. So I also posted, good gosh, it will be a miracle if Superman is any good. And it will. I don't hold a lot of hope for this film. All right, guys, now let's talk about this preview that went on yesterday, and they're doing some more showings today. It's not for fans. I want to make it very clear that the people that saw this film are paid for people who work for companies and or publications that are being paid to promote Superman. They are not there to give their honest opinion. They are there to help promote Superman. That's the important part that you have to know. They are being paid to promote Superman, not give their opinion. One of those would be Ramos. Now, this is what's crazy. So he was able to see it yesterday. He posted a picture where he was at the theater, and obviously he shilled for this movie hard. And he went to the showing, and there were reports that he passed out there. I don't know how true that is. But afterwards, he did a video this morning saying it's the day after he had this huge smile on his face, and he's talking about how he's not about to talk about the movie until the embargo comes off, I think sometime in a week and a half or so, like the 7th or 8th, I think the embargo comes down. I can't remember when exactly. So he said he'll be able to talk about it at that stage. And he recorded something yesterday, and he's going to have a lot of content coming out Matt will, for this. Now, what's hilarious about this, he looks like he is over the moon about this film. You know what other film he was over the moon about? And the video was out there for everybody to watch, and he was completely wrong, was The Flash. He talked about how The Flash was amazing, and that he had heard reports beforehand and how good it was, and he wasn't prepared, and how good it was actually going to be, and it blew him away with such heart, such action, that there was a two-minute action scene that the whole entire theater cheered for. There was nothing like that in the movie. The movie was not what he said it was. His opinion is not to be trusted. He is paid for by the studio to help promote stuff. He is not there to give his true opinion. Now, a lot of people seem to think that I have made up my mind already about the film, and I certainly have not. People will say I have, but I haven't. I have not seen the film. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. I can only go based off of things that they have released, and I can tell you that the clips and the little trailers have been terrible. Terrible. This looks like a juvenile production. It looks like something that was made for TV. I look back at Lois and Clark, or Superman and Lois, and I can't believe that got canceled in lieu of something like this. It's a weird shift that we're having here. We're shifting to stupid and silly. And Gunn said this wasn't going to happen. And it is clear by everything that we've seen that this is just a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff with DC characters. And I will be shocked if this movie ends up being good. But I promise you, when I go into that theater to see this film, I'm going in as a blank slate. I will judge that film based on the film itself, not what came before, not who made it. I will judge that film based on that film and being a fan of DC characters. And if it ends up being completely stupid and silly, I will tell you. If it ends up being more than that, I will tell you. But this cannot be a rehash of Guardians of the Galaxy. If it is on the level of Guardians of the Galaxy, I will tell you. And some people like that. But James Gunn promised that wasn't going to happen. But we shall see shortly. All right, guys, there's my update for the day. What do you think about all this stuff that's going on? What you're seeing online cannot be trusted by the people who are being paid by the studios to help promote this film. And that's exactly what it is. They're being paid to promote it. You cannot trust those people. So they were the ones who got to see it early. What do you guys think about everything that's going on? What do you think about these new clips that got released? And one other clip that I forgot to show a little bit of was one that was on Kelly Clarkson yesterday, and it was ridiculous. The music, it took place in the Daily Planet, and you had Perry White trying to collect everybody to go up to the saucer thing that Lois is going to maneuver. And he asks her, is that saucer thing still up on the roof? He's like, okay, how many people does it hold? And she's like, it holds 5, maybe 6. 6. And then he starts looking around the room. You're coming. And as people would pop up, the music was like, it was this silly, it came off like Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes. That's exactly the vibe it gave off. All right, guys, if you've seen these clips, I want to hear about it down below. I do appreciate all the support. My last video, I think, was my most watched news of the day video I've ever had. I have to thank you guys for that. It was huge. And I am more than humbled by the amount of people who take the time to watch the videos. I appreciate you guys more than you can possibly know. All right, guys, we will see you on the next video.